Hey guys, it's Evan Bourcier coming back with part 2 of this Andrew Peterson post-production thing because Joel did the mix stupid fast. So I'm going to kind of quickly actually disassemble this and show you what my process normally is for something like this instead of just showing you kind of what's left. So after the shoot, you've dumped your audio and footage. You don't have much here, as you can see. We record everything to isolated tracks so that we can mix it all in post. Also, you hear banging noise in the background. It's like windy and our pipes are freaking out. Let's see. Easy, but this burden. Andrew's vocal. Is the silence of God. Guitar mic'd. Piano DI. Guitar direct line. Electric guitar, and then that's nothing. That's just an accidental file, actually. And then we have our footage, which has no audio. So we make a new sequence from clip. Normally, when you import it, Premiere will throw this like default Alexa 709 LUT on it. So this is what it looks like. And you'll also have the whole thing. So let's open the whole thing up again and go back to the beginning. So you can kind of see that initial exposure. I think I already talked about this in the other video, so we're going to move on. So then normally what I'll do is go skim along to try and find our slate. So in this case, it's Matt clapping. And we'll go and find where his hands stop. So that's there. And I'll cut it right there, no matter what. And so we'll do that. And the other thing that I'll just quickly do is unlink this. So now we have the first frame of the video is the frame where the slate is. Now we can drag these two suckers in and see if we can find the clap.
Yep. Silence of God, take one.
And then usually what I'll do is you can see in the waveform where the clap is. So I'll just go right there, double cut the clap. So there's something that I already know about this one that makes why I'm going to do this the way it is right now, which is that unfortunately we had 5 lines, so we split between 2 recorders, and the 2 lines that are on this recorder are the only ones that have the clap in them because the other ones are all instrument DIs. It's acoustic, electric, and guitar. Technically, the electric one might have the clap in it, actually. Let's test that theory. Oh, so it actually does. I synced it without this when I initially did it. But so then I just go to these tracks, kill them right where the clap is, pull everything back in Premiere, and now everything should be synced up. And as I said before, Premiere doesn't like playing back and recording to the same drive at the same time, so I apologize. I swear my computer destroys this stuff when it's not running Camtasia. So, we now have a synced video. The man of all sorrows, he never forgot. Theoretically. When he has to remember. Nope, doesn't sound right. What's wrong right now? He never forgot what's up by the hearts. Something definitely is not right now. This is fun. You guys get to see how you problem solve one of these things live. Let's go back to these tracks. So that should be where the clap is. And it should be the same on all of them because they all start and stop at the same time.
comfort from thy step, and the heavens' only answer is the silence of God.
That's really weird. They look like they're both right on the clap, but they definitely aren't starting at the same time. So this is an easy problem to fix, though. We just will instead take where the guitar waveform starts, and then this is the guitar on the other one. And if we slip those up, now they should match. Now the question is just whether this matches the video still or not. Definitely doesn't. So I'm really confused why that slate did not work out for us. I probably did something really clearly stupid just now, and that's why it wasn't working. Because I don't normally have this problem, I promise, guys. So what I'm doing is just re-slipping this back to match up with this, that little spike where the clap is, and hopefully now everything's all synced up. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so we'll have this, and then depending on what happens, sometimes I trim it down to both. One of the other things I did was I reset our sequence settings to make it 234. We shot 3.2K in camera, so we can go 3200 divided by 2.4 equals 13333. So we'll change our horizontal stuff in here. Now we have 239 sequence, and then I'll cut this right to the clap usually. And I started messing with the grade here, but the next thing I'll do is go OMF, export OMF title, Silence of God, 4800, 24, separate audio, broadcast wave, trim audio files. And then I'll export this just like that. And what that'll do is it'll give me, let me see where I put them. I think I put it right in a Dropbox. Yeah, so it'll give me these 5 audio files. And it exports each track, but now they're all synced up to each other. So then I put this in Dropbox, send it over to Joel, who does the mix, and he does some magic and sends me back a file that has now been actually mixed and made sound pretty, because we're not really mixing it on the day of. We're just trying to get clean tracks of everything. So now we can bring back the mix that Joel sent over.
Take one.
We'll find that clap again. Take that. We'll kill all of this. I'm actually going to go back to this one. Ooh, what's going on here? It's a pretty grade. Kill all of this. And now we should have... Oh, you know what it is? Is that the Amira 709 thing's back on. And now we have a mix synced up to our footage. Sometimes they mess it up the first try. So that's pretty simple. Then usually what will happen is I'll go through and play with the grade. In this case, I kind of have something that I dig, but I'm going to start over for the sake of you guys have been asking about stuff. So usually what I'll do is, we have our initial, just kind of share the thought process, 709 Mirror. And I don't hate this. Like, I could bounce this and be happy with it, I guess. But to me, it doesn't really fit the mood of what we're trying to do. So what I will probably try to do is make it a little less, like, video contrasty is what I would call it. A little less super clean. So take our highlights and pull the curve down a little, basically, is the goal. We'll take the shadows, pull the curve up a little. Don't want to lift our blacks too much. Or anything, but do just want to kind of bring a little more range and push the colors around to make it feel a little less real. Because the colors right now are really accurate, but that makes it feel really real, and I kind of want it to feel a little cooler than real. Not like temperature-wise cooler, but like literally cooler. And so there's a bunch of different things that you can do with this. to save me going back through my folders, I'm just going to do this for you guys. And so I put the Letify 709 LUT on here for the Alexa. And I started, and we'll get rid of this. So this is the Alexa V3 log C to DCI P3 Letify LUT. And I was like, this is better. It's a little softer. It doesn't quite crunch everything so hard. And then I was kind of playing with, like, you know, what if we slipped our white balance around a little? And I kind of like pushing it a little bit green. You don't want to go like super green, but pushing it like a tiny bit green, just that's kind of been a feel that I've been digging. So let's say we push it -8. So that pushes us towards green a little. I'm kind of conflicted on whether to go cool or warm with it. But one way or another, we'll make a decision. Thankfully, it's exposed pretty well, in my opinion, so we don't have to do much with that. And then this is when Letify starts freaking out. I don't know if anyone else ever has this experience, but sometimes Letify just gets like really angry. Like, what is it doing right now? Yeah, and so then I kind of honestly, recently with stuff like this, I think that being like a good colorist and being able to do everything from hand is really good. But I also feel like if you kind of have a sense of what you want, you can kind of go through something like Letify LUTs and get you in the direction you want to go. My goal is like, I don't necessarily have time to like start from scratch and totally push everything, you know, every little way. So what I'm usually doing is fishing towards the general direction that I want to take something, and not just throwing a LUT on it and being happy with it, but being like, what's starting to push it in a direction I dig. This is actually kind of cool. I'm gonna mute this just for the sake of you guys not having to listen to it. I can kind of dig that. But the thing that immediately strikes me about this is that I kind of feel like we're doing something slightly suboptimal to like the highlights in here, where it feels like it's not clipping the highlights, but acting like there's not information there that is there. So maybe what we do sometimes with something like this is pull it back a little. And then I'll take it and say, okay, what if we try pushing it a few different ways again now and see if I kind of can find something that I like in here. I'm not loving it. It's cool, but I'm not. I think it's a little further down the really cool route than maybe I want to go. You can also install your Letify LUTs in here so you can scroll through them. I don't know why I don't, but I don't. So I end up just doing this fun click through everything thing. I kind of like this one. I feel like this is the same one that I used for the Alec Khan thing. But it just feels a little more warm. There's a little more, I feel like, dynamic range being shown with this than the default 709 LUT. Everything feels real, but it feels a little pushed, you know, in various ways, as opposed to that default 709 LUT. Just felt very overly real, for lack of a better term. So that's definitely an option. It's really, you know, the other funny thing that's unfortunate about these is that, like, tons of them are just ridiculous. And I don't care if Letify hears me say that. It's just like, I'm not going to ever necessarily push something all like just super brown or like this super lifted blacks, or like, I don't know who's using a bunch of these, but there are some good ones. This one's actually kind of cool. Yeah, I can dig that. Dude, Andrew with the stare. So then another thing that I would consider doing, kind of depending on the job, like this one I'm kind of back and forth on it, but I could definitely see this working and would also push it kind of in a different direction, would be if we went the Gorilla Grain route. Basically take your Gorilla Grain, drop it on here, go to Oh, I always mess with this. Go to soft light, usually is where I find myself landing. And you're kind of just texturizing it up. I think it can be really good. I think it can also really quickly take what feels like really well shot footage and start to make it feel like some kid with a T3i grained the frick out of it. So I wouldn't necessarily go crazy with it, but I definitely have sometimes. If it feels right, then go for it. But let's say, like, if I was gonna go the Gorilla Grain route on this, and kind of make it funkier, then what I would probably do is I would push the grade more, because I feel like you sort of want to match up to that feeling of like having it feel funky. So I would look for a more extreme kind of look, I think. Maybe we even go over here. There's some cool stuff over in Movie Inspired. Like this is probably a little too much in the warm greeny train. And then let's also just take take this Gorilla Grain, paste it all the way over a take. Yeah, it's a little strong, I would say, but it's really, I think that like the thing with color is you have to like watch a bunch of stuff and get a sense of what you like build a taste of what you want your images to look and feel like. I could get behind this. And then once you have a sense of like how you want things to feel and how you like things to feel, as far as like, do I want a lot of detail in those blacks? Because it's a very like, I feel like people make it overly mysterious. It's a very like, do I want whites to go really white or sort of white? Do I want my blacks to be crushed and clipped, or do I want a lot of range in there still? That if you start to look at stuff and analyze it, you can usually get a pretty good sense kind of what you like. And so like I like a sort of surreal but still semi-real color palette. And this is kind of something that I can dig. Like I'll probably still mess with this a little bit for the sake of this video. I probably won't keep doing it now, but like this is a look that I could be happy with, and it's mostly all a LUT. So what I would probably do is I might go in and tweak a little bit of this, be like, okay, what if we like pulled the mids down a little bit and maybe pulled a little bit of the peaks of the whites down, which is going to affect things like the guitar and stuff. But I generally don't get super crushy with those things, because then you start to lose information, and you spent all this money on getting an expensive camera that retains a bunch of information, and you threw it away, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, I'm really not doing a lot to anything. I feel like there's a lot of this mystery behind, like, how do you grade your stuff? And it's like, shoot it so it looks good, and you don't have to do a whole lot to it. And my Visco process for Fuji frames is very much the same. I still got to do a video on it, but it's super simple. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then usually what I'll do now is I will take this. I'll pick one of these two takes, see which one I like, because this has 2 takes through the song in it, and I will bounce that to a title guy, and he'll mock up some motion graphics, send that back to me with an alpha channel. We'll just drop the motion graphics on top, and then we're done. I'd love to have one of my audio guys talk about what they're doing to the audio, just in sort of a mixing, compressing, EQing thing. But realistically, you just want to learn to be a sound guy for that. So yeah, that's sort of the post process. Thanks for watching me fumble through trying to figure out why I wasn't syncing right. It's really simple. But if you guys just wanted to kind of see how I do it, that's more or less how I do it. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to hit me with questions, and I can do a part 3 if you want. I love you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.